Welcome back everyone. This is the Native New Yorker, and what I have here is an old dbx 3BX3 dynamic range expander from the late 80s. It's been in storage for the past 25 years, so let's see what's going on inside. After opening it up, I noticed the mess around the main power supply capacitors. It looks like they all leaked. I also know that the glue they use breaks down in time and becomes conductive. You can see from this close-up the mess it created. Check it out, it's conductive. Next, I want to hook it up to my dim bulb tester to protect it as I check the voltage out of the power supply. It should be plus and minus 12 volts. Here it's reading 11.82 on the plus and 12.27 on the minus. That's almost half a volt difference. Since the op amps rely on the plus and minus 12 volts from the power supply, not only am I changing the capacitors, I'm also going to change the bridge rectifier, voltage regulators, diodes, and anything that looks corroded. Now it's time for open heart surgery. This is how I get the circuit board out of the chassis. Here's an important part of the surgery. It's the knobs. Don't start yanking on them. They're held on the shaft with a grub screw. If you try to pull them off, you'll break the pots, and those are hard to get. After looking over all the connections on the board, the secondaries from the transformer are the only wires that don't have connectors. They're wrapped. For those who worked on telecom in the 70s and 80s, you'll know what I'm talking about. Next thing I'm going to show you are the connections to the 6 front panel LEDs over the buttons. The engineers in Japan used JST connectors that slip over the leads on the LEDs. All you need to do is carefully pull them off. Now if an LED comes off with a connector, don't panic. The LEDs are clipped onto the front panel. I marked each connector so I know where they belong. I unplugged the last connector for the front panel LED. Nearby is a ground connection to the chassis held with the screw that needs to be removed. I make sure the board is free and ready to come out before I disconnect the harness. I did mark the connectors off camera. Now that the circuit board is out of the chassis, I start working on the power supply capacitors. I first add in some new solder, then suck it out with the solder sucker. This makes the removal so much easier, as you can see here. Here's a close-up of the area with the capacitors removed. You can see all the corrosion created by the leak. Now with the capacitors out of the way, I stick my probes on different areas where the capacitors were, and you can see there's conductivity. I'm using a small screwdriver to scrape off the old glue and electrolyte. It's coming off very easily with no damage to the circuit board. Here's what it looks like after scraping off all that mess. Off camera, I follow through with a wire brush and thoroughly clean it with alcohol. Now that all of the parts are here from Mauser, it's time to begin the transplant process.
Several days later. 24 sleepless hours later.
Check it out. I changed all the electrolytic capacitors, marking every single one I took out just in case. Now it's time to put it back together and hope it don't blow up. Looking back at the transformer secondaries, I want to put a disconnect here. I'm going to use this 3-conductor JST connector for that. Transformer wires are 2 reds and a black, and the connector is black, red, and green, so I'm going to use some heat shrink to mark them. Here I'm crimping the connector onto the transformer end. Now you get to see me bust out the old 70s telecom wire wrapping tool. I'm using this white UV solder mask to detail the knobs. I mask off the areas with Kapton tape and I paint on the white stripe with a toothpick. Then I stick it under the ultraviolet light for a few minutes to set it. After giving the chassis and circuit board a thorough cleaning, it's time to put it all back together. Now that it's back together, I stick it on the dim bulb tester, turn it on, and see if there's any fireworks, smoke, or nuclear meltdown. Perfect. No smoke, no explosions. I do notice the lights look a little wonky. It's most likely out of alignment and needs to be tuned. If I get enough interest, I'll do a follow-up video aligning and tuning it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.